The Indianapolis Colts trade for Matt Ryan. I'm going to go ahead and write down mine right here. Let's see here for the Colts. I think this was a pretty good move for them for the most part. I think that for the Atlanta Falcons, I know we're going to have a different conversation when we talk about them on the flip side of this, but this is really what the Colts needed to do. I mean, I don't think they could have had a better offseason here at this point by landing Matt Ryan. So I've got my grade finalized. I don't know about you. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh my God.
Is stupid.
This is stupid. You know, we got that.
Do you ever play euchre? Do you ever play euchre?
Never.
Okay, I was gonna say you're going to be my euchre partner from now on.
Okay, hey,
we're on the same page.
We're going to be able to read. We're going to be able to read the energy off there. So now let's take a look here. Obviously, for the Indianapolis Colts, I know Pat McAfee was like, all Matt Ryan's got to do is
hand the ball off. It's a pretty simple job.
But now I think that they should invest in obviously some wide receiver depth. I would love to see Jarvis Landry, maybe even Julio Jones end up in Indianapolis as some wide receiver.
I think that's still a very good possibility.
Oh, dude, if they could land Jarvis and they can land Julio alongside Michael Pittman, look, I'm telling you, there might be something special brewing there for the Indianapolis Colts. Keep an eye on that. That might be a sneaky move for them here in the AFC. But now let's take a look at the Falcons side of things here for them. Ultimately, trading away a franchise player is always a hard move, right? And you have to have a contingency plan. And in the meantime, I know that they're going to get roasted over not taking Justin Fields in last year's NFL draft with the 4th overall pick. Granted, you go out and you get Kyle Pitts. I don't think that they envision not having Matt Ryan for a couple of years, but obviously as everything's kind of played out in this last offseason, it made sense for them to kind of part ways, especially considering his contract, which now the Colts have also restructured to free up some cap space. I'm going to write down my grade here for the Atlanta Falcons. I don't think it's as bad as some of the other trades that we've seen, and I think that they will be in a prime position, especially getting Marcus Mariota. I like kind of the move that we've seen from them. Now it's all about adding some more wide receivers there because, look, Kyle Pitts is a dog, but you can't go into there with, Olamide Zacchaeus, or I believe I said it completely wrong there.
Close enough.
Zacchaeus as the wide receiver one there for that team. So I'm going to hold my grade up here. I got it locked in. 3, 2, 1. Okay. This is the first one we've actually not been in before. So C, I gave it a C+. You gave it a C-. Why'd you give it a C-?
Honestly, I think a big part of this is when we look back at what the Falcons and the Washington Commanders did. We'll kind of get to this one a little bit later on. We kind of see the same type of a capital being traded for these two type of players. Falcons didn't get quite that much back in return right now, and only turned the one third round pick. This is a team that's still trying to rebuild. Like, you get rid of some of the draft capital, but at the same time, Matt Ryan had thrown for over 4,000 passing yards in 10 of the last 11 years. Marcus Mariota is still a bit of an unproven commodity, as much as we think this was a good move for him. For me, it's just the Falcons didn't get that much in return. And like, you look at some of these other teams that are getting back decent hauls for picks, and I think the Indianapolis Colts probably could have given more. I think the Falcons probably could have asked for a little more, and they probably could have got it out of it. It's a meh trade for me. Like, it's meh. Like, you didn't get that much better. And honestly, a 3rd round pick is 82nd overall. What's the hit rate on that to begin with anyway? Like, you're probably not going to get that great of a player. You might nail it. Don't get me wrong. If it does, this trade could end up being a B+ potentially, especially if Matt Ryan ends up falling off and they got off the curve right at the perfect time. But for me right now, it's just so unproven with the rest of this Falcons team. You don't have any other pass catchers on this one. You got Russell Gage now in Tampa Bay. Calvin Ridley gambled himself out of the NFL, as we've talked about previously. I just don't love where the Atlanta Falcons are. You got probably the worst wide receiver room in the NFL, and now with an unproven quarterback. Like, it is what it is.
That's a great point that you make as well. And I know running back, look, you brought back Cordarrelle Patterson, but it's like, how much of last year was a flash in the pan versus maybe what he can do? Can he sustain that? I think that's a big question.
Patterson kind of slowed down towards the end of last year. Like, he had almost as many touches last year as he has in the 4 previous seasons combined. And it looked like it started to take its toll on when they really started using him as a traditional running back versus like the wide receiver they were using him as beforehand. It was a weird way they use him. We'll see if he does it again this year.